Hi, my name is Jacob Olsen, and today I'm going to be discussing business and the overall business experience in China. The first thing I'd like to discuss is the style of business in China. In the US, deals tend to move quickly because everyone is focused on moving from one deal to the other very quickly. In China, the opposite thought actually prevails, in that business relationships and business dealings are very slow to develop, for a multitude of reasons. In addition, the official dialect of the People's Republic of China is Mandarin. And so, because Mandarin can be a difficult language to master for a non-native speaker, it's strongly recommended that you bring in a translator. This will help you avoid any miscommunications and will help to move deals along a little faster, but don't expect great miracles from a translator in terms of moving your business along. The next point I'd like to discuss is business relationships. As I mentioned before, business relationships are very slow to develop because they remain so professional. In America, we tend to get to know each other on a personal level and then a professional level. But when you're doing business in China, things will always remain on that professional level. In addition, it's important to note that you, as an American business person, will be seen as a company representative, not an individual. This also helps to keep the business relationships more professional. Something that also has an impact on the way business is done in China is the social class and government system in place. Communist thought still prevails in China, and due to corruption, non-tariff barriers, and the prevalence of state-owned enterprises, business is slowed down even more. However, it's important to note that there is a growth in the middle class and a demand for a new market system. So there's a potential for a change in the way business is done in China, but there's no data to show whether or not this really could happen. Some general rules to go over for business in China is that bowing is a common greeting, but a handshake will suffice just as well. In addition, the most senior member of your team should be the one to greet the eldest or most senior member of the Chinese team, and it's important to use titles and surnames. So if the person you're dealing with is a doctor, refer to them as a doctor, call them doctor. In addition, direct eye contact or a slight tilting of the head is what's common in China. The next thing I'm going to be discussing is business attire. Business attire is more conservative in China than it is in Western business areas. For men, that means a tailored suit with a conservative cut, and for women, that means a pantsuit or a skirt suit. There's very muted colors in business attire in China. So no bright colors, really. It's not going to be like a bright pink shirt or a bright green tie. It's more muted. Pastel colors are very popular in the business world. There are more specifics in terms of women's attire. That includes a conservative neckline, a crisp line or pleat. Sleeves are very important, and it's important to note that there are no heels or elaborate hairstyles. Wearing heels could make you taller than one of your business counterparts, and that's not viewed as a very respectful thing. In addition, you want to don subtle accessories when you're working in the business realm in China. You don't want flashy cufflinks or a flashy watch. And something that's similar to Western business is that you want to cover tattoos. In Western business, it's becoming more common to have a tattoo or for tattoos to be visible during work, but in China, it's the opposite thought. You want to be sure your tattoos are covered when doing business over there. I'm also going to be discussing women in business in China. In China, modern women are allowed to occupy the same spaces as men. This means they can work side by side. In addition, women are free to travel with members of either gender and with their business friends, but it's important to note that it's recommended that no one, man or woman, travel alone. Chinese businesswomen are typically greeted the same way you would greet anybody, a handshake or a bow, but an important note is that touching beyond that is rare, and this is true of both men and women in business. And it's important to note that China has made a lot of progress, but socially and in the business world as well, things are more male-dominated. And women are still viewed as mothers first and career women second. The last point I'd like to discuss is business entertaining. a business lunch is common in China, but a business dinner is where most of the networking gets done. So if you're invited to one of these dinners, it's very, very important that you attend. It could help with your business dealings. Most entertaining will be done at a public restaurant, and this provides you a chance to eat different types of Chinese cuisine, including Shandong cooking or Cantonese, or some of the rich pickled foods of cities like Shanghai. Something that is important to note here is that the host will pay the bill, and tipping is not common, unless you are at a hotel restaurant that's frequented by tourists. Then tipping is more common. Before going over to China to do business, you should typically learn how to use chopsticks for these business lunches and dinners. In addition, the host will be the one to tell you where to sit. You will not pick your seat. And it's very important in most aspects to defer to the host and see what they do and say. Another important note is that you should not eat the last food item on the tray, as it's deemed disrespectful. I mentioned before that most business dinners are done in a public restaurant, but on a rare occasion, you will be invited to your boss's or host's home. These invitations are extremely rare, and if you're given one, you should certainly accept. It's common to bring a gift for your hostess, like food or liquor from your home country, or gifts in the number of 8. In America, the lucky number is 3. In China, it's 8. It's important to note that you do not bring cutting utensils or flowers or handkerchiefs as a gift. Flowers are typically reserved just for funerals. You will also want to wrap your gift in red or gold paper, as these are viewed as lucky colors. And lastly, topics that you want to avoid during these business dinners are politics of any kind, including communism or Tibetan or Taiwanese independence movements, or human rights in China in general. And so if you keep these tips in mind on your business trips to China, you should find great success, and your business dealings will eventually, albeit slowly, they will close and you will find great success. Thank you.